Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
These are the dark holes I fell into this week. We're on the road again, guys. On the road again. I've learned how to do the setup a little bit better. We got a better microphone first off, right away. And yeah, I got the you can't see the laptop, Frank. My laptop over here. I got my phone over here. We're dipping. We're double dipping over here. We're making it look good. But I kind of like this. It's very chill. I'm on the couch. I'm hanging out. It almost makes me be like, this is like, I might have to get Jorge to fucking just come over to the apartment and we fucking shoot it when I'm not in my apartment right now. But like when I'm home, like maybe I just start shooting at home like this. I like this fucking chill vibe. But today on the podcast, oh no, wait, this is the exclusive episode. I don't want to be looking at that. Today, these are the dark holes I fell into this week. We got a UK mayor dies from suffocating himself by pleasuring himself while high on several substances. Then we're looking at mug shotties, guys. Mug shotties, classic page. A lot of you guys probably know mug shotties already, but it needs to be spoken about on Dark Holes. It's a beautiful thing. And then we got a crew of dudes shared a pleasure sleeve. I'll say that again. This is the title write-in of the week. A crew of dudes shared a pleasure sleeve. All today on Dark Holes. All right, guys. Let's start right off the top. We got a UK mayor suffocates himself in a crack den after seeking sexual pleasure. All right. I don't know a lot about what's going on in the UK. I got to be 100% honest with you guys about that. I don't know what their a judicial system or their political systems look like. I'm assuming it's like somewhere between America and Canada. So I would think that they have. I think they have a parliament. Canada has a parliament. Their mayors, it's the Tories. This guy's from the Tories, which I think is their, I want to say this is their conservative party. I don't know. Everyone has their conservatives and their guys on the other side or whatever, dude. But this dude, regardless of his political party, he was kind of living his life in a way where he was looking to have a good time, man. And you don't get that from a lot of politicians. Like, if politicians are normally trying to have fun, it seems like they're doing it in like a really devious way. They're doing some dastardly things that are like harming other people and ruining people's lives and insider trading. This guy seems like he was just like, hey, this is kind of about me and doing what I need to do for myself. So let's get into this article here. I'm going to bring this up, guys, up on my phone so I can just read it because I got bad eyeballs. All right, load for me. Oh, wait. That's not the one we want. This is the one we want. Ex-Tory mayor died and drugged in with plastic bag over his head, tied to chair for sexual pleasure. Warning, graphic detail. Les Windows, 67, visited the address of a drug dealer and was said to have had used a shoelace to tie one of his arms to a chair and place a plastic bag over his head. An ex-Tory mayor suffocated to death in a drug den with a plastic bag over his head for sexual pleasure, an inquest has heard. Okay, so first thing I hear about this is like this dude was pushing the limits of what's possible in the goonosphere, all right? We've spoken about this on this podcast several times of gooning within your limits. There was the guy who had the silicone sex doll in the dormitory, the Chinese kid, and then he lit it on fire, and then he almost burned his entire dorm down, and then became an internet sensation, and was worried about getting embarrassed among his peers from having sex with a sex doll, and then became an internet sensation. And I know that he had sex with a sex doll, so it was kind of counterproductive for him to light that thing on fire. It actually led to much more people knowing. Now, this guy, it seems like this would be in the same realm. This would be like a goonicide. It wasn't goonicide because it wasn't like intentional death. A goon self-manslaughter. What is there a term for killing yourself by accident? There probably is something out there, but I don't know what that term is, and I don't have a producer to snag it for me right now. So I'm sure Paco will throw it on the screen because he loves to correct me, and I actually do enjoy when he corrects me quite a bit. For those of you watching the video portion, so yeah, this wasn't a goonicide. He didn't kill himself. This was gooning beyond your limits, but I think it was an intentional goon beyond the limits. Hold on, I don't know if that's getting picked up on the microphone. The air just turned on. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the AC off. Give me a second, guys. Okay, before we get back into this, we're just waiting for the fans to turn off, guys. But I don't know why this is a thing only with like fans and like ACs and heating units. You turn them off, and then okay, it did just turn off. But then it just goes for however fucking, it's like, oh, I need to slow down. But I have a fucking heating unit in my place where it does that, but you can plug it into the wall. Like it's like attached to the wall, but you have to plug it in as well. I don't know. It's an old New York building. But I just rip the plug out and then it turns off. And then it's like, I don't want to wait. It's like, oh, probably it's like you're damaging the fans or the coil. It's like, just turn off. When I turn off, don't spin for another fucking whatever minute and a half. I got shit to do. I'm recording over here. Anyways, what were we? We were talking about this guy, a goon-aside. Like is this a goon-aside? Or is this gooning beyond your limits? And I don't think it is. I think this is. He did goon beyond his limits. It is, but not in a way where he was doing it like these other people, where these other people were mistaking like who they were. This guy, I think he knew who he was, and he was pushing the limits. He wasn't operating in a space where like he's like, oh, I think if people found out about this, he would have been very embarrassed. But I think he was willing to take the risk. He, with all the different plates he was spinning simultaneously, he was more of like a base jumper or a deep sea diver or a splunker or like one of those cave dudes who gets like lost in a cave and then dies or something, or someone who climbs Mount Everest or something like that, but climbed Mount Everest in like 1922 or something. I'm not sure when the first person climbed it, but before it was like, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's much easier now. That's who this guy is. The first man to walk on the moon, Lance Armstrong, but also a Lance Armstrong. Someone who's pushing the boundaries of what is actually possible in the goonosphere. That's what I think he was trying to attempt. He's like, all right, we're going to, I know that if I suffocate myself and I am being pleasured sexually, I can hit a climax that's beyond what the normal person can experience. Okay, how do we now X this to the next level? Okay, well, I'm going to do crack, and then I'm going to drink alcohol. And it's like, okay, how far can we take this? And I don't think this was the first time he did this. He was experimenting to see how far you can push your goon ability. And because of him, I don't know if he documented any of this. I hope he did. I hope he had like a little diary to keep track of his research, because this is important information of like how far can you goon now? And that's why I think he tied his arms down, because he's like, I know that if my arms aren't tied down, once I hit that sort of suffocation point where like the real peak orgasm is going to come, I'm going to rip it off, and I kind of have to push through that, and I need something to restrain me to push through to get that like extra powerful nut, like however many octaves higher of an ejaculate that was going to come out of him, he needed to be strapped down. So like I said, he's more of a trailblazer of gooning that we should almost be like proud of. We're gonna go through the whole article, and I want to go all the way down to the bottom here of what people said about him at the end. He was involved in politics for over 40 years, paying tribute to him after his death. The Conservative Associate said he was a selfless servant of his community and had much loved and admired. And sorry, I'm so bad at fucking reading. He was a selfless servant of his community and much loved and admired by all who knew him. He was kind, considerate, and went out of his way to represent his constituents. Fuck, dude, some words are harder than others. But he was a good guy. This was a good dude who seemed like he gave his all in multiple areas of life. He cared about his community. He cared about the people around him. Seems like he had good, loving relationships. And he also cared about nutting at a level that can only be accomplished through autoerotic asphyxiation in a drunk dead while high on crack and consuming vodka. it, we know more about nutting because of this guy. Like I said, I hope he didn't take his secrets to the grave. Maybe he did. Maybe it wasn't as selfless of an act as we thought. I mean, it wouldn't be selfish to push yourself into that position and not document it, but I would hope that he would share that knowledge with the rest of the world. Because if you found out today that if you're like, if he did all the calculations and he just got them a little wrong one time, or if you could take that data and then you could start off from where he left off, standing on the shoulders of giants is what they call it, and you could basically find out like what is the right amount of like crack versus BMI versus alcohol intake versus like low oxygen in my lungs or blood, and how can we perfect this while ejaculating to start coming on a level that no one has ever seen before, dude. What it, I mean, is that even a road we want to head down? Maybe we're getting into like dark arts territory, because like where does it stop is also a thing. It's like how far do you take this fiendish desire? I am seeing that other perspective now, and it's a little bit scarier than I had first anticipated it. Okay, well, let's get back to this article here, guys. So we know that he died from insane jerk. The body of Tory councillor and former mayor Les Winwood, 67, was found in a property in Blinston, Wolverhampton, on July 17th, 2022. Oh, this is been hanging out for a little while. An inquest heard a post-mortem examination found he spent hours alone taking crack cocaine and drinking vodka before he died in a camping chair. Now, dude, dying is inevitable. You're all going to die. And I know that's not something that's fun to hear, but it is something that actually gives me peace. It's something that whenever I feel stressed or whenever I'm unsure about my life, I remember I am going to die. And that gives me a sense of calm, knowing that is where no matter what happens tomorrow, if I have something great or something horrible happen, or if I lose all my money or I get a bunch of money or whatever, I will die. And because of that, that calms me, knowing what the future is. And this guy, I don't know if he had the same perspective, but he at least tried to capture like a moment of like, it seems like he got a moment that was his death to be an extraordinary one. He was sitting in a camping chair, which I don't know how many of you guys have gone camping, had one of those foldable camping chairs. They're hard to get up from. Those guys, for as little lower back support as they give, they are surprisingly comfortable. You want to sit in them for hours. You want to just keep the little fucking arm holder, or the cup holder and the armrest. You put your beer in there, and then every time you put your arm down, it spills a little bit. That's a little bit annoying. They need to work on the technology on that a little bit. But then you're just slugging those back. You're looking at a campfire. You're hanging out. You can really enjoy yourself and dive deep into the people around you. And there's something about the camping chair too that gives you like this. Maybe it's the environment, being out in the woods, being separated from society, but or maybe it's because most of the time I've been sitting in a camping chair, I've been taking psychedelics like mushrooms. So that this could be the reason why I relate the camping chair to having like these great introspective, mind-altering experiences, or you're just like lost in nature and you're like, what's life all about? And you kind of have that deep thought while in the camping chair. And so that could have contributed to his exploration of this master nut. He was like, okay, I'm in the camping chair, I'm hanging out, I'm chilling, I'm digging around my mind for this answer of how we're going to nut greater. And through this vessel, the camping chair that will open up my mind, because that's what it does, I will find the greater way to nut. He had all the pieces there in front of him. I really think this guy was a genius. He had visited the address of the drug dealer. We're back on the article, by the way. He had visited the address of the drug dealer on several occasions and had likely been seeking sexual pleasure there. That's in quotations. A coroner ruled. Okay, so there's something on his body that showed he was getting jizzed off. The inquest of his death at Black County Coroner's Court on Wednesday revealed Mr. Winwood died as a result of misadventure. So, just having too much fun is what that basically means. The cause of death of Mr. Winwood, who was unmarried, that like even better, dude. This is, I think we spoke about Nikola Tesla on a previous episode about how Nikola Tesla never fucked because his life was dedicated to his craft. At least that's what some people assume. And maybe he did fuck and just no one knew. It was hard to keep records back then. But for what we know, he died as a virgin because his mind was so focused on creating beautiful things. And this man, not a virgin, of course, was seeking sexual pleasure in many different ways, but was unhindered. Is unhindered a word? Was fucking was not slowed down. I mean, you knew what I meant by unhindered. But yeah, he wasn't slowed by a relationship. Not that a relationship will always slow you, but I think for what he was looking for, if he was married and then had to kind of like sneak away from his wife to go do crack in a den, sit in the camping chair and jork his shit, his wife might have got suspicious and would have probably messed up his research. So again, sort of like a selfless thing to do, to sacrifice the potential of like true love and a long lasting relationship to dive into the possibilities of goon nirvana. I think a great person. To misadventure. That's what we said. The hearing heard the hearing heard the use of cocaine while trying to achieve sexual arousal through asphyxiation would have put great strain on his heart, which Mr. Winwood had been taking medication for. Coroner Joanne Lee ruled no one else was involved in his death. Okay, beautiful. Phone records showed that the veteran politician arrived at the property about 2 p.m. the day prior with a bottle of vodka as well as other items. He used a shoelace to tie one of his arms to the chair and placed a bag over his own head. Keith Kennedy had. We have a picture of Keith Kennedy here. Keith Kennedy was arrested following Mr. Winwood's death. Okay, so I think he owns the place. Keith Kennedy had been out of the property when Mr. Winwood died, but he was later jailed for 2 years after he pleaded guilty to being concerned in the production of crack cocaine, or maybe he sold them the drugs. He phoned the emergency services, but only after he removed cocaine and drugs and drug paraphernalia from the property. Yeah, that makes sense. You want to kind of hide your ass on this. It's not your job to get caught or get taken to jail because this other guy was like testing the bounds of what the human body can accomplish. Now, something. Oh yeah, the coroner said it would have put great strain on his body. So this is like a Goku Kaioken situation. Like, I don't know how informed so many listeners are with Dragon Ball Z, but if when Goku kind of hits certain forms like Super Saiyan 3 or Kaioken times like 20 or Ultra Instinct, these different like high level transformations, he can only maintain them for a short period of time because they do such damage to his body that they will leave him basically like disabled afterwards. They tear him to pieces, and so this guy's like body could only handle so much of this level of gooning, and he was really willing to put himself in that situation. Hold on, let me see here. Keith Kennedy, officers who attended the property noticed telltale signs of drug use in the production and of drug use and production, and subsequently found CCTV footage of Kennedy removing items from his home before they arrived. Mr. Winwood of Talsey Shorps held his counselor role for many years and was twice the chairman of the Bridge North Council. Dude, this guy, to do this is like a side project too, because there's no money in this. This is like being a jazz musician in the 40s or something. Like, you kind of do this for the love of the game. This is like when people were playing video games in like the first Evos and stuff like that. Like when competitive gaming would only pay like the top few people and everyone else was just doing it because they fucking loved it. That's what this guy was doing. He had to have like a full other job, a full other life in order to fund this goon research that he was doing, this crack induced goon nirvana. This is like the dedication here. Most of us will never realize in our lives, to really love and care about something that it will give you no sustainability in your life. If anything, it's probably only going to destabilize your life, and to still dedicate your life to it, and then also have a regular job that you need to maintain in order to keep your passions alive is wild, man. But that's basically the whole breakdown of this guy. So shout out to, I wouldn't even say like this is like Gooner of the Week, which we've had like Gooner of the Week a few times now. But this is a different thing. This isn't gooning beyond your limits. This isn't like an embarrassing story. This is a guy who wanted to see what you could do, wanted to push the boundaries and accomplish something truly great. And I think I mean, we don't have the details on what he did. I hope he documented it, like I said, but I truly think we have someone great here. I truly think we do, guys. All right, let me see how we're doing on time. Ooh, where's my timer? Oh, we're pretty deep in right now. Okay, guys, this is Dark Holes with Che Durena. Dark Holes. Okay. Ooh. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted by my phone. Guys, we're on the road. Yeah, as you can tell, we're on the road. I'm in a very comfy position today. I think I have a little bit of a better setup than I did last time. I got the microphone in a position that's going to be a lot more stable, so the audio is going to be a lot more stable this time. I'm trying to keep my voice quieter because I don't want, and no one, I can hear also with this microphone, it's a lot better because I can listen to myself through the microphone. So I can see if I'm peaking or anything. But I don't have a producer on the other end to be like, oh, you're peaking, you're not peaking, blah, 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 or to change the levels on the go. So we're hoping that this is going to be fucking awesome. Okay, what's going on with me? First off, guys, the Gas Digital exclusive episode that we're going to be doing this week, I'm actually really excited for this one because this is kind of what I really want to start doing with the Gas Digital exclusive stuff. Remember, guys, if you want to get the Gas Digital exclusive episode, you can go to Gas Digital, use offer code CHE, and you can get a discount, and then you can get access to all my exclusive apps. You can get access to the whole back catalog, as well as a bunch of other Gas Digital shows and all the stuff that they do. But what is special about this one we're going to be doing this week is it's the Chuck Berry sex tapes we're going to be going over. I don't know if you guys know who Chuck Berry is, but Chuck Berry is a rock and roll legend. He's dead now, but was also an insane deviant. And some of his deviancies, I don't know if that's a word either. Some of his debaucheries, some of his debaucherous ways were documented by him. He did it himself. So just so we're talking about this other guy, it's like where there's a theme of being debaucherous in private and documenting it. Now, what Chuck Berry was doing was much more villainous. It was not a heroic act at all, but it was still documented. And the Chuck Berry sex tapes are one of the crown jewels of e-fucked videos. And so we're going to be able to watch that in full color, full penetration shown, not live, but on Gas Digital. And so that's the benefit. If you guys subscribe to Gas Digital, you'll be able to see Chuck Berry's dick and balls and ass and asshole, actually. I don't want to spoil too much for you, but it'll all be there on Gas Digital. We also got a neurosurgeon who goes, okay, let's try this again. Neurosurgeon goes OnlyFans model and then gets brain injury, and it's hard for her to like remember what she does, which is a crazy story. It's actually a lot sadder. Like I read through the whole article and then I was like, it's a little bit of a bummer, but I still wanted to go through it because I thought there was some interesting stuff in there. And I do think that it is, there's like, it's one of those things like everything happens for a reason. It seems like, I think in the long run, what might come out of this is something very positive, and we'll get into that on the exclusive episode. And then our title write-in for the exclusive episode is some lady's dad told her dudes in the Cuban military are losing their virginity to goats. That was one of the write-ins. We got a lot of write-ins this week, and so it was a little harder to sift through them, but I was able to reach out to many people and ask them for follow-ups, and so we have a lot of follow-ups both on the regular app and on the exclusive app this week. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be getting to that in not that long, all right? Remember, guys, follow me, you fucking idiots. If you guys are listening to the podcast and you haven't followed yet, just go down, hit that follow button. It helps me out a ton, and it costs you nothing. Cost you nothing, guys. Our 5-star review of the week comes from actually what's it called? Spotify this time. Remember, if you guys want your 5-star review left, you can go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review, or you can go to Spotify and comment on a video. That Spotify doesn't let you write out reviews, so that I'll count a comment as a review. And so this one comes from Humby Brad 1, and it says, easy 5-star review. Myself, 30 male, and my work husband, 32 male. Touch tips and listen en route to work Saturday morning. Gets us through the day. That's actually wonderful, hubby Brad. I really appreciate that the two of you have such a close relationship. You guys are touching tips. You're having a good car ride. This is like peak level bromance. This is kind of a lot of stuff that my content has done to different people. It's like it is prime in the group chats, and so that it warms my heart. I always started making comedy content just because I wanted to see how good of a comedian I could be. I felt like if I dedicated enough time to this, I could be successful at this. And but then hearing some people's stories of how much joy it brings them wasn't the intention. I'm not going to try and be like, oh, some sort of altruistic person that was like, oh no, like, is altruistic a word either? I say altruistic all the time and I don't know. Hey Siri, is altruistic a word? Let's see. Yes, okay. Yes, oh, we got to reset the cameras, guys. Okay, sorry about that. So the camera I have, the reason I got to keep resetting the cameras, the camera I have, I'm going to get a new camera soon, but the camera I have only records for 30 minutes, and then I got to reset it. But okay, so altruistic is a word, and it does mean what I thought it meant, the selflessness. So yeah, I didn't start doing comedy to be like, I'm going to change the world and make people happier. But the fact that it does means a lot to me. It actually makes me feel really good. I'm really happy that people find joy in what I do. Okay, the 5-5 challenge is all over the place right now. I don't even know if we can really say we're referencing it, but I do. I'm going to be going on the road a bunch, and I do want to get back to doing it fully, dude. I haven't had caffeine in about a week, though. It's weird. The other stuff is off kilter right now. Like, I'm drinking and I'm watching porn. I'm eating gluten. I haven't had nicotine either, though. Nicotine hasn't worked its way back. But I haven't had caffeine. The one that was the hardest not to do is now the easiest not to do right now for whatever reason. Okay. Oh, I did Spanish today. I did practice Spanish today. And okay, Marvel Rivals. So, okay, let's do a little bit of a Marvel Rivals update here. Me and Cameron were really stuck in Plat 1. We haven't been able to get out of Plat 1. We keep like winning a couple, losing a couple, winning a couple, losing a couple. I think we're kind of at the stage where we need to make some strong adjustments if we want to get further in this game. We need to start communicating better with our teammates, but mostly with each other, I think. And then we also need to start getting better at switching. We need to start being able to play more roles. So something I've been doing is playing a lot, like going to QP and just like grinding one character. So Namor, I like saying Namor better. That's more fun. He's my guy right now. I'm like, I need some DPS in the canon. I'm not very good at any DPS role. Like, I can kind of play Squirrel Girl, but I need some fucking good DPS. And Namor is a really good counter. So, and I think he looks cool, dude. I think he looks cool. I like a turret guy. It allows me to be shittier with my aim. So yeah, Namor is who I'm really like fucking locking in on, and I'm having some good games. I actually got a couple MVPs in a row with him, which was very satisfying. But I haven't taken him into competitive play yet. But he will be brought into competitive play. And so we're basically just at a position now where we need to start to be able to play more roles and be able to switch around a lot in order to push ahead. We need to be the change on our team that other people won't be. That's what we got to see. Okay, and tour dates. Okay, we can take Dayton off of here now. Dayton is no longer We already did Dayton. The gym. I'm kind of getting stuck at the gym. Like, I've been pretty consistent 3 days a week the past few weeks. I want to get that up to 5. If I can get up to 5, I think we can really start to see a good change of physique. I'm definitely a little heavier right now because I've been drinking. I got to cut out the booze. I always, when I start drinking, I start to see that fucking spare tire start to form around my gut where I was leaning out quite a bit and feeling quite solid before. But my lifts are stalling out a little bit, so it might be time for a new program. But I think that's just part of like the powerlifting thing is you have to kind of understand that you're going to hit a point where progress starts to really slow down, and that might be where I'm at right now. And also with only going 3 days a week, and I'm not like sleeping crazy. I've been really paying attention to my protein. So stuff is a little all over the place with that, but I'm at least trying to get in there frequently and make that like a solid part of my life, and it does make me feel good. But tour dates, guys. We're going to be in San Jose, March 26th. Brea, California, March 27th. Salt Lake City, March 28th to 29th. Calgary, April 3rd to 5th. Atlanta, and then we... I forgot. We got all the Canada stuff here before I go to that stuff. We got Red Deer, Alberta, April 1st. April 2nd, we got Edmonton. April 3rd to 5th, Calgary, as I said. Then April 9th, Saskatoon. April 10th, Lethbridge. April 11th, Victoria. April 12th, Vancouver. April 15th, St. John's. April 16th, Halifax. April 18th, London. April 19th, Ottawa. And I said April 12th, Vancouver, right? Yeah. We're really pushing the Vancouver one right now. Really want to push that really hard. And then Atlanta, Georgia, May 2nd to 4th. Houston, Texas, May 28th. Dallas, Texas, May 29th to 31st. Appleton, Wisconsin, September 5th to 6th. And as I've mentioned before, there is a La Jolla date in October, but that is pretty far away, so we don't have the ticket link up for that yet. Okay, guys, to our next story. Oh, did I set a new timer? I didn't. So I don't know how long we've been going for. I'm going to assume, hey, Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes. Boom. I'm going to assume it was around 10 minutes. I actually should probably look. I'll look. Give me 1 second, guys. It was actually 5.5 minutes, guys. Yeah, I just realized that if I'm wrong on that and then I lose like a few minutes of footage, that's going to fucking suck. Okay, but then to the mug shotties, guys. To the mug shotties. So if you guys don't know what mug shotties is this page that has a bunch of ladies, a bunch of chicks that have mugshots, but they're hot. It's a brilliant idea. I think it was all spawned off of like one hot mugshot, and then it just started rolling and rolling and rolling. And you'd be surprised how many like really attractive women are getting arrested. You just don't think it happens to like hot chicks. And sometimes in the mugshotty pictures, you go, oh, well, she ain't even that hot. But you got to remember, it's a mugshot. A mugshot is probably the least flattering picture ever. If anything, a mugshot should be on your dating profile because you're almost always going to look better than a mugshot. Like the way people are doing with angles and filters and lighting and catfishing and all this kind of stuff, that is going to be the lie. The mugshot is kind of also a lie, but in the opposite direction, where when you see the person in real life, they're hotter. So anyone who you see on mugshotties, you go, oh, she's kind of cute. She's probably like maybe a half point, maybe a full point higher than what she is in the mugshot picture. So that is something you got to keep in mind. Now, this one particularly caught my eye because this is like a pretty high level mugshot in terms of crime. The vast majority of mugshotties, if you can bring this up for me, Paco, just so it's on screen. So I just want people to see her. And it doesn't have her name, but she is quite cute. She's got some nice curly hair. She's got like really nice skin. She's got beautiful blue eyes. She's a cute, well put together girl. Looks very natural. Now, something that really caught my eye about this particular mugshotty was the crime, because most of these girls, it's DUI, battery, assault, DUI, battery, assault. possession of illegal substance, DUI, battery, assault. That's every chick is sort of in that realm where they're committing crimes, and I think that's what a lot of people are getting their mugshot done. I don't think it's just the ladies, but that's what a lot of crimes. Not way more people are getting DUIs or getting caught with weed than are committing murder. But this lady is none of the things I just mentioned, conspiring to serve as unlawful agent of the Russian Federation within the U.S. This is treason. This lady was committing treason, a treasonous hottie, and at first blown away, being like, what does a super cute chick have anything on her mind when it comes to treason? I don't know if this is the direct, maybe this isn't treason because maybe she conspiring to serve as unlawful agent of the Russian Federation within the U.S. So I think it's only treason if she is American. I think is it treason if you're from the outside and then you invade? Is that like espionage? Espionage is probably a crime. Hey Siri, is espionage a crime? This is my producer this week. Espionage. Let me see here. Wikipedia. Espionage, spying, intelligence gathering, the act of obtaining confidential information and intelligence. A person who commits espionage is called espionage spy. An individual spying. Okay, this has to be illegal. It has to be a defined unwelcome. So it may be a legal tool of law enforcement, and others it may be illegal and punishable by law. Okay, so this is, I guess if you're doing it from the outside, it's got to be like an espionage type thing, right? Espionage, good word. Good word, man. Only know that from 007 for sure. That never would have worked its way into my mind any other way. But yeah, treason. I think this is treason. A lady committing that. And I go, what does a hot chick have anything to do with treason? Like, what you think she just wouldn't waste her time on stuff like that? But then I remember the honeypot is like a core element of espionage and of any sort of like spying, colluding, trying to bring down government activities. The honeypot, having a hot chick in your arsenal, a hot chick is one of the tools you use to bring down whatever the United States or something. It all makes perfect sense right now. Everyone wants to have that hot chick in the back pocket. And the puss is like a big driver. I think I wrote something down here. Yeah. Okay. So the pussy is like the cornerstone of what can like tear these things apart. Like if we got what's his name? Homer's Odyssey. Homer's Odyssey. That movie's coming out soon. Going to be made by fucking Christopher Nolan, and Christopher Nolan, of course. Well, love his stuff. I think he's doing his best work when he's kind of working off an already standing property like Batman, like Oppenheimer, like something that is like, okay, this story already exists, and how does he put his Nolan spin on it? So something like the Odyssey seems like a perfect fit for him. But all these things, we got like what I'm trying to get to is like, why would you use a hot lady in treason or espionage or trying to bring down a government? Is because pussy in all these stories is like dudes going to great lengths and like destroying their lives or destroying other people's lives or uprooting the world in the quest for pussy, dude. The Odyssey is like a gigantic story of pussy. A guy gets stuck on an island with some really good pussy, and then he's trying to get back to his wife, which is his pussy, which he's like, I'm crazy about this pussy, I only want this pussy. Even though he fucks like this goddess or like nymph or something. There's some sort of like high level creature in his dick game. That's something they don't talk about, which is I think who's playing, it's like Matt Damon is playing Odysseus in the Odyssey, and a big part of Odysseus is like that he's like a fucking cocksmith, that he lays down cock like in an ungodly manner, so much so that he's on an island with like a godly creature, and she's like, don't leave, just like stay here with me until the end of time, and just like let's just fuck. And he's like, I gotta go home to my wife, dude. Which I just don't get that vibe from Matt Damon. I don't get like crazy cocksmith vibe. Maybe he embodies the other stuff like a clever captain and a good leader and a man who's willing to go on a great quest. But I don't even get like yearning for love from Matt Damon. I get more of kind of like smuggy, kind of smartassy kind of guy. I like The Departed, where he's like being like a sneaky guy. That's kind of what I see when I think of Matt Damon. Like in the what's that other Nolan one he was in where they're in space, Interstellar, when he's like smacking the helmets together to break the glass. If you haven't seen Interstellar, that what I just described was confusing, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. But he was a sneaky guy in that movie too. So for him to be like cocksmith adventurer, I mean, he's Matt Damon. He's a great actor. I'm sure he can pull it off, but it's just not usually the role that I think he's going to be in. But anyways, I started to think, based on this mug shoddy that we saw, I'm like, how much of my own motivations are just rooted in pussy? Like, is me on this microphone right now doing comedy like I felt like it was for me, but I feel like I need to almost like go on like an ayahuascan journey and figure out what like motivations are just pussy rooted. Like, definitely one that definitely isn't is Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals has no attachment to pussy at all. There's never a time I touch the mouse and keyboard and think I'm getting a little bit closer to getting my dick sucked, getting a little bit closer to tasting a little gash. No. There's no way. There's no universe where those two things are aligned at all. So I know that act is pure. But then there's so many other aspects of my life: going to the gym, the need to get in shape, the whatever, traveling, doing comedy, being online, is all that just rooted in a deep need for pussy, as all these other people have done. What's the other? There's Homer's Odyssey, and then there's the Trojan horse one. What's that one? But that was all just like dudes fighting over pussy again. They were like, we're gonna fight in war for like whatever 20 years, and then it's all over like one pussy, dude. Hey, like all these people got to die because we're like super crazy about pussy. About one dude's crazy about a pussy, and now I'm roped. His urge for pussy so big that like I'm roped in now. I'm roped in, and I got to get involved. Which I'm like, do I want to remove all those like things? If I remove all those things from my life, would it maybe become like a cobbler? Maybe I work like on a strawberry farm. Like I could completely back away from everything I've ever known if I'm like, what is, I go on this ayahuascan journey. I like go drink the tea. I do a little ayahuasca, because that's apparently what you're supposed to do when you do ayahuasca. You're supposed to go in with like a question for the ayahuasca or the spirits or whatever. I don't know if there's a name for the thing that you're asking the question to. Maybe it's to yourself. But you're supposed to be like, hey, this is what I'm kind of working on today. And that the question could be like, what in my life is purely motivated by pussy? And then you drink the tea and you trip out crazy. And then I know sometimes you'll vomit, sometimes you'll shit. And then you might come out the other end and be like, man, so much shit, dude. Like, I'm not even going to wear pants anymore. I'm not going to wear shirts anymore. I'm just like wearing jumpsuits that it's just comfier, easier zipper. Actually, no, that would be such a pain, because shitting and pissing would be just such a pain. You got to take off the whole jumpsuit every time. No. So that's not a pussy motivation. But you guys get what I'm looking at right now. Yeah. So that all that whole line of dialogue in my mind came purely from like seeing this mugshotty and being like, how far will people go for pussy? And it's pretty far. Okay, I just want to see where we're at in terms of recording here. Why won't you show me my mouse? Why won't you show me my mouse? Okay, we're sufficiently deep, and we do have a couple extra guys to watch. So these ones I want to watch on the computer because I want the audio to be lined up. So we have a couple. I worked in a couple like fun guys. These are like palate cleansers before we get to the write-ins, and these are one's brutal. I don't know if we're going to watch the brutal one because we don't have a ton of time and we have long write-ins today. So I don't know if we're gonna get. Let's just start with the fun one. This will be a fun palate cleanser because I feel like that was a deep introspective journey. Like both of them kind of were. We really talked about like what will you sacrifice on yourself to like accomplish a great goal, and then what are the motivations of your goals. This guy who was gooning in private, I don't think it was pussy at all. That seemed like there was no attachment to pussy. Doing crack and like autoerotic asphyxiation, drinking booze, tying yourself to a chair, and then jerking off to reach like a great climax. I don't think that gets you any close to pussy, and I think he knew that. Okay, guys. Okay, so let's look at this one. It's called Nut Shot. Show me my mouse. Okay, my mouse does this every now and again where it'll turn the same color as the white background, and then I just can't see it. Oh no, this is the mean one. Okay, hold on. We got to turn that desktop audio way down so that can get lined up. Let me turn myself down here, and then we're going to give this a watch, guys. You got to get it all. Oh, yeah. Just hitting the nuts. Hitting the nuts right there. Listen to the noises. Oh, yeah. That's brutal. None of that was good. Here we got another slow-mo. Boom. Oh, he's just on. I just called somebody. Let's get it. We're going to go through it one more time just so we can hear this guy. For the audio-only listeners, this is an umpire at a softball game that takes a baseball directly to the nuts, and it seems like it eviscerates him. I can't imagine the amount of pain this man is in. Ooh. There we go. Okay. No one helps him. That's an important element that you need to pay attention to this one, is that no one helps him, guys. Nobody comes over to be like, is this guy okay? Is he good? Like, do we, what can we do to should we lift him up? Do we get him ice? No one puts their hand on his back. Mind you, it seems like it's a bunch of 16-year-old girls playing softball. So a grown man gets hit in the balls with a baseball or a softball. They have no clue what to do. They have no clue. But no parent comes over either to be like, oh, help this man. And I've never been in that much pain before either. I've never been in. That was the noise he was making. I've never been in pain where I yelp out. Like every time I've been seriously hurt, I just kind of I hold it all in, and I'm just like, because yelling out I don't think will do anything, but I'm sure there is a level of pain where you start to yell out. I mean, I think it's almost like a primal thing. Animals do it. Like an animal gets hurt and it screams, and so it's almost like help me. That's what he was trying to say, was help me, but he was. That's all that he could get out. Okay, guys. Okay, so that was one dude in an insane amount of pain. Let's see another one here. Let's go. This wrestling gone wrong. Okay. Oh. Hold on. I want to get the audio. The jump. Oh my God. Oh my God, guys. That was not planned. I don't know why this guy's picture came up at the end. Let's see that one more time. So jumping off the top, he thought he was going to go through the door. But of course, physics had a different plan for him. Physics had a different plan, guys. And so for the audio-only listener, it was like a backyard wrestling kind of event. The guy jumps off the top of a ladder to land on a guy who's laying across a door that's propped up on two chairs. And then when the guy rolls up, the door goes sideways, so he lands on it lengthwise, which is the doors in its strongest form. And then it hits him in the soft belly, which is probably the weakest part of his body. Strongest part of the door, weakest part of his body. all impact on the organs. Not good. Not good. Very bad, dude. And then the guy who he was against gets up and kind of tries to keep going with the act. And I don't think he realized what happened to that guy. And you know it was bad because someone else just jumps into the ring. Like it's someone non-wrestler. Like it seems like Med Team just came in immediately to be like, this guy's fucking cooked, bro. That could be like, we got to take your spleen out right now, man. Right now. All right, guys. Right in time. Right in time. It's time for a ride in. Okay, I don't know if we're going to get through all the ride ins today. We might push some of them to the extra app. I don't know if we'll get all through all of them in the extra app. We have like some long, good ride ins. Okay, here we go. First one, shared a pocket pussy with my brother and friends during the same afternoon. That is crazy. I don't know how. I mean, that must have been an accident. It must have something to get logged, some information to get passed along for you guys to make such a big mistake like that. For you guys not to really realize that the pocket pussy was communal. Stealing. Someone knew it was communal. Someone knew that it wasn't theirs and that they were using it. Maybe they assumed that the person who it belonged to wasn't really using it either and that it was safe to use, or they didn't care. But the person who's suffering the most would be the person who owns it, who thought that this was a private part of their life. That they must have thought, I own a pocket pussy, I'm jerking off with it, I'm jizzing it in. No one in their right mind would want to use this thing knowing that I'm using it. No one wants a secondhand sex toy. But it turns out the person writing in, along with a third person, their brother, and a friend, all got caught up in this. So this is what they wrote. 315-pound teen during the pandemic. I find an inside scan vag pocket pussy, supposed creme de la creme. During the fucking, I feel hella strong urge. It's not living. I feel a hella strong urge. It's not a living thing, and it's getting colder in there. So I call it quits, as I couldn't deal with it feeling like necrophilia. Okay, fair, yeah. Of it being like, you're like, this is so close to a pussy, but too far away from a pussy that now I'm like getting the weird thought that this is kind of like a dead body or something like that. I've used a pocket pussy before. My mind never went there because I think you just like, I knew it was like a tool. I wasn't ever thinking that maybe, but who knows how good, like this was an inside vag scan pocket pussy, so maybe it can really trick your mind. So my brother, who I shared the room with, the timer's going off. That means we only have we don't have a lot of time left. Hey Siri, set a timer for 4 minutes. There we go. That'll be good. That means the camera will still be going. It's not a living thing. I couldn't deal with the feeling of necrophilia. So my brother, who I shared a room with, knows about my purchase and is curious on my reviews. I explain it, and we got to smoking weed and chilling with my boy, and the dares start. Eventually, reasoning got to, since I'm the gayest anyways, given that I'm not reading that part. And Paco, don't put that part in. Wow, that's crazy to write. I'm sorry that happened to you. Well, that caught me off guard. I didn't read through this one first. I sometimes I read through them, sometimes I don't. I'd like to not read through them so I can get a genuine surprise for you guys. And I didn't know that was in here. If they try it out, at least I still can make fun of them. So, given I cleaned it as well as the instructions say, I pass it to my bro, and he gave it a way better review, to the point my best friend had been so curious and also down bad, he gave it a shot. Maybe some peer pressure of two brothers wanting to sink their boy to worse depths too. And then he puts a salute emoji and then a skull emoji. Wow. Okay, there's a lot to process on this one. I would want to know ages on when that happened, just because, actually, I don't think there's any age where it's, because I'm like, maybe you're like a teen, like this happened to me when I was a teenager, and then you go like, hey man, fucking teenagers do weird shit, and you did something you regret. I think we've talked about this on a previous app of like doing it as at an older age, still bad, or no, bad, much worse is what I was going with that. But I don't know how you get. I don't think there's any like what did. So basically, like it was there, and did someone just like take it into the bathroom and then be like, "I'm gonna give this a jerk," and then come back and then give my score, and then after someone gives their score, they wash it out, and then the next dude goes like, "Well, now I'm gonna go jerk off with it." Uh, I know that this isn't the first time something like this has happened to either. I think a lot of people can just like close that part of their mind. They can be like, hey, it's washed, dude. Who cares? Someone washed it. It's fine. What, I've eaten off a plate that someone else has eaten off of. I've used a fork that someone else has used. I've sat on a toilet someone else has shit in. And so I'm sure that some people can make some sort of justification through mental gymnastics to be like, yeah, it's totally fine that I'm sticking my hog in this thing after my two friends who are brothers just stuck their hogs in this thing. One who said it wasn't good either. I have to be the tiebreaker. There is an element of that too, where you're like, well, we got to get to the bottom of this. Which one of you is actually wrong on your reviews of this pocket pussy, which he left out of this? I really actually would like to find out, was it actually good or was it actually bad? Was it worth all the hype for three dudes to share the same pocket pussy even after cleaning it? Huh. But through all that mental gymnastics, I don't think there's a universe where I could use uh, a pocket pussy that was used by anyone else. Anyone else. Like maybe if a sexy lady rubbed it on her pussy, yeah, that's fine. But a friend has sex with a fleshlight. Oh, all right, we got to restart the cameras. We're starting off from where we left off, guys. But yeah, that I guess I feel like I'm just talking in a circle here on this now, but that I usually hope after the explanation that it kind of makes sense. You can see people's line of logic, but no, there's nothing on this that tells me that this was ever a good idea. You guys all seem to be fine with it though. So maybe you're all just way more comfortable with yourselves than I am. Maybe I haven't reached a level, but there's I think even like it's just a level of like cleanliness or something like that. I don't think there's a level of comfortability that comes along where it's like it's just a dirty thing to do, you know? It's gross. It's gross. Yeah, it's gross. All right. This one was an interesting one. This is more of just a brain teaser. What do you call Eskimo brothers that are okay? Let's try again. What do you call Eskimo brothers that are also resulted? Let's try again. What do you call Eskimo brothers that also resulted in abortions from the same woman? Asking for a friend and myself. Okay, so two buddies had sex with the same girl, and both, and she had two abortions because of that. And if it's Eskimo brothers for two people who had sex with the same chick, it would be like, uh, something like an accomplice, like an accessory to the fact. Accessory bros, like what, like maybe like homicide homies. Maybe that's what you call it, homicide homies. You're both colluding in, and I mean, I'm not someone over here who's like not pro. I'm like, do whatever you want, but the funniest term is homicide homies. But I am pro abortion, guys. I've said this before that you should have to abort the first one. The first one should have to be aborted. Maybe yeah, homicide homies or coat. I was gonna say hanger something, but then it's like hanger homies, the H word again. Uh, but there's some sort of coat hanger compadres or something. Coat hanger comrades. I think coat hanger comrades I like more. Yeah, your coat hanger comrades. That's what you guys are. We've locked that one down, guys. Now we're getting deep in this app, and let's see. We have one. Okay, there's one write-in that's not going to make the cut for this episode. But we have a would you rather that's pretty good that I think we should tackle just to close out this episode. So the would you rather is, would you rather have a jalapeno seed stuck in your dick hole or a hamster in your ass? So I did hear a story about a guy getting jalapeno seed stuck in his dick hole, and it was pretty bad. He thought he had like a serious STD. He went back to the clinic multiple times, and every time it came up like nothing. And then eventually they swabbed the inside of his dick hole and then pulled the jalapeno seed out. I heard this story. I don't know how true the story is, but apparently it was like his dick was swollen up and it was horrible. The thing about having the hamster stuck in your ass is it seems like rodents, when, like, I don't know if you've seen in Game of Thrones, or I think they do it in Fast and the Furious as well. It's like a form of torture. You put like a rodent in a like on someone's stomach, and then you put a bucket over top, and then you heat the bucket up to the point where the rodent needs to get out, and then it starts clawing through the person, and it's like a horrible, horrible form of torture. And I think that's kind of what would happen with the hamster. The hamster is going to find its way out, and it's going to start digging. These guys are burrowers. They like to go and like, or they're going to start like chewing up through your intestines, and there's not going to be a way to get that fucker out of there. Like, you would hope that he suffocates, but then he's rotting inside of you, and then it's like that's even a whole other thing to get out. So now you're like clawed up, because when he starts suffocating, he's going to start clawing, he's going to start panicking. So you're clawed up in your colon, he's suffocating, and then you got to get him out somehow. That doctor visit is crazy. Your colon's probably damaged the rest of your life. Where the jalapeno seed in your dick hole is going to be very uncomfortable for a bit, but once you get it out, you should probably return to normal. And it's not like and then maybe you plant the jalapeno seed, and then whatever grows, like the jalapeno plant that grows, it's like a lucky jalapeno plant. That'll have some sort of positive benefit. It might even be like an aphrodisiac. Like maybe like you let a lady know, you're like, hey, this was grown. This jalapeno plant was grown from a jalapeno seed that was in my dick hole. And then she's like, oh my God, really? And you're like, yeah. And you tell the whole story, and it's a funny story. And you go, I can make you like tacos or something with it. And she would be like, that's actually hilarious. Let's do it. And then you know she's kind of cool. And then it also, maybe there is some sort of like sexual witchcraft that goes on there. And then she's like, gets infatuated with you. Ladies like to do sexual witchcraft. Like they put their period blood in shit, or like spray their perfume on shit and like try to get in your head to like get you in love with them. And so this would be a good like Uno reverse. Be like, I got my own sexual witchcraft. And it's going to be putting, giving you a jalapeno, feeding you jalapeno that was made from a seed that was stuck in my dick hole. And guys, that's the episode. I hope you guys had a good time today. I had a really good time today. I felt like this was a pretty banger ep. I feel like I'm talking in a different. You guys probably know I'm talking like a calmer, quieter tone. That's because I don't want to in this space. I don't want to yell too much. And so I'm not in a studio. Like there's neighbors and whatnot, you know. So in the studio, you can be like as loud as you want, but maybe this is the new tone I talk in for the pod. Who knows? I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot right now, and I feel very locked in. And it's just a new vibe. And the road ones might be a lot like this. Also, when it's just me alone, there's less to like. When Jorge's there, I'm like performing for Jorge a bit. I'm like getting loud. I'm like, hey, what's up, buddy? When it's just me, it's like we're just chatting right now, you know. But I felt like this episode really cooked. Remember, if you guys want to go check out the exclusive app, you can go to Gas Digital right now, and you can use offer code Che. Well, if this is the day it released, it'll be out tomorrow. There's always next day release. So if you just wait a day, then that exclusive app will be out. Yeah, guys, I had a great one today. I really feel like we dove deep into it, and we had some really fucking good talks, some good chats. Until next time, guys, make sure you stay safe. Make sure you're gooning responsibly, and all the other things we covered today. Anyways, bye.